them introduce themselves and everything. You can use that now.
Good morning. Thank you. Thank you for inviting us to come and share, and it's great to be in the house of the Lord today. I didn't really know what I was going to talk about. I was asked to share a little bit about CMA, and especially Run for the Sun. Can you hear me all right back there?
Yes.
Okay. It's neat how God works. The first song that we had, Trust and Obey, and I got to thinking right then about how CMA got started. This is a ministry of Christian motorcyclists going around touching other bikers that are lost. It was started by one man by the name of Herb Shreve. He went to a motorcycle rally, and his heart was broken, seeing the lost and what was going on. And he knew that he had to do something. The Lord laid it on his heart to touch these folks. One man started Christian Motorcycle Association. That was back in 1975. Today, it is around the world. How many different countries do they have chapters now in? It's like 100 and something countries.
38.
Huh? You have to speak about it. 38. Okay, 38 countries. In the United States, there's like, what is that, 1,400 chapters or something like that. We're a chapter called the Ford City Daystar Riders from Fort Smith. And on behalf of the Daystar Riders, we thank you for inviting us to come here today and share. I was going to ask you to speak a little bit about what's called Run for the Sun. This was started in about 1985, I think it was. The CMA leaders got together and they decided they wanted to purchase one motorcycle for one pastor in Guatemala. And that was neat. I don't know what it cost back then, but just to send one motorcycle to a pastor somewhere today costs about $15,000. So that was kind of energetic on their part. They had vision, they went out. But today, through the missionary ventures, they've given a lot more modes of transportation, you might say. First of all, let me back up and say that Run for the Sun is the only fundraising event that they have each year. They have partnered with 3 different ministries that have potential of reaching around the world. Missionary Ventures is the ones that give away motorcycles and modes of transportation. Up to today, and I looked this up last night on the website, the CMA has given over 7,855 motorcycles away. They've given 7,196 bicycles. Now these are going to pastors or to missionaries so they can be able to reach more of the people in their area. In addition to that, they've given away boats and motors. They've given away horses and buggies, snowmobiles, given away wheelchairs, and they've even had given away at least one camel. So through CMA, they are touching the world. We're touching the world, you and I. And I left a Mountain View. I have another mission that we are supporting in Run for the Sun is the Jesus Film Project. If anybody would like a copy of the Jesus Film, they translate the gospel into various languages. They take they're then taken to different villages, so on and so forth. And these people have never heard about Jesus Christ can hear the gospel in their own language, in their native language. This is an awesome way to minister to those. We also have support Open Doors Ministries. They take Bibles and training material into some of the worst countries that you can imagine, like Afghanistan, China. They were the first group, I think, to take Bibles in Chinese language to China and distribute them. So it's through CMA, we have a worldwide effect, and it's neat. How this whole thing works is that we as CMA members collect monies throughout the year, and it's gathered up at one time, usually in the spring. And then it is distributed. 30% or 20% of the monies goes to each one of these ministries that I've mentioned. 40% of the money stays the CMA, and they purchase materials that we as chapters and members can go and purchase and use in our ministry here. So 100% of the money that is collected goes to missions in some way, shape, or form, or outreach in some way, shape, or form. There's no money kept for facilities. There's no wages taken out of this. It's all gone to missions. Just to get an idea of the people that can be touched by CMA. Locally in the United States, annually on the average, CMA members touch over 692,530 lives each year. Of those, on the average, 10,650 people come to Jesus Christ and accept Him as their Savior. Just in the United States. And that's what the CMA chapters, what we do year-round. There was some other statistics, and I didn't write those down, and I won't get to that right now, but just the effect that we as individuals can have on the world. Number one thing that I might ask everybody to do is pray for those that are going out. That is the most that we can do. The money that we give is great, but we need to be praying for those that are out there doing the jobs and that disperse this monies, that they go to places that need it the most. So if you would like one of these CDs of the Jesus Film Project, you're welcome to them. Was there anything that I've missed? We have the state coordinator for Run for the Sun with us today, and I'm sure he'll straighten me out later if I've made a mistake. Okay, without further ado, I'd like to turn it over to Maury, and thank you for inviting us here.
Can y'all hear me okay?
Yep.
Darn, I thought I was going to get to use the mic. Carol and I had the privilege of going to Belize and giving away some of those motorcycles. And I don't know if they're $15,000 a piece. I don't think they're that much, because they're off-road bikes. But you know, to see the pastors and to know that they had transportation, and they know that they had transportation to get to villages, and some of them would have 4 or 5 services on a Sunday, but they'd have to drive or ride through places where there are no roads. Do what?
Sometimes they would have to drive hours and hours and hours and hours just to get to the church.
But to see the look on their faces when they receive something to ride, they know they can reach more people, and it's just a blessing. Okay, I'm gonna try to keep this short. We'll have you out of here by 4:30.
It's short.
They're laughing. They don't know how long I can talk.
Yes, we do.
You know, when I first received Jesus, it was because of one thing. I saw Jesus in people. I'd give up a bunch of stuff. I searched, I studied, I searched the scriptures. We would lay in bed and watch people like Catherine Coleman. You know, hey, Carol, you think that stuff's for real? You know? But when it come right down to it, a friend asked me to bring my guitar, come out to the park, meet some people. And they didn't even preach to me, but I saw Christ in them. I saw something in them I couldn't mistake. And all I know is I fell down that afternoon and said, God, if that's real, I want it. And it changed my life, turned my life upside down. Carol and I, we found out real quick what Colossians 1:27 means. Christ in you is the hope of glory. When people can see Christ in you, they see hope. It's just that simple. We also found out that these signs really do follow those who believe. We saw healings, we saw miracles, we saw just a constant, just crazy stuff, just crazy stuff. We pray and it happened. It's just so cool to know the God that can control anything he wants to. And he'll do anything he can for his children. And he can do anything. You hear what I'm saying? But we saw so much go on. And then we moved to Arkansas. We get kind of a dry period, you know. And I saw a lot of preaching, a lot of lively stuff, but I didn't see a whole lot of stuff happening. You know, so ended up going out. We moved to Nebraska. Saw a whole bunch of stuff. I'm trying to cut this down or keep it short. And I'm not sure I know how to do that, so I'm just going to go on. Well, I was in kind of one of those dry periods, you know? And it's like, I know God, I know what he's capable of. We've seen him heal people. We've seen things, incredible things happen, wonderful things happen. He's always stepped in. He never let me down. He is just the God who is God. And yet, so many times we start relying on our own talents. We start relying on our own abilities. And instead of saying, well, God said it, I can do it. We're saying, well, let me see what I can do so God can talk to me. You know what I'm saying? And it's a really sad thing because it don't take no faith for me to write an article. I'm good at English. I can write. Ain't no problem. Doesn't take any faith for Mike to weld a piece of steel. He's learned how to do that. It's a talent. He's got that. Other people have talents with administration. David makes a great road captain and vice president, you know. People have natural talents, and that's good. We need those, but we also need to know how to listen when we pray and step out because he said. Does that make sense? But anyways, I was going through kind of a dry period, and I'd just gotten back into motorcycling. I've got a very supportive wife. We dated on a 250 Ducati. That was back in 1971. That was when 250 was a big bike. Actually, Yeah, but I gave it up when I started having kids. And our kids are all grown and raised, and I got that hankering for a motorcycle, and I said, you know, I told Carol, I said, you know, I just feel like getting back into biking. And she says, well, what are you waiting for? Oh, okay, you missed it too. Who knew? So I got back into motorcycling, and I was working at the mall, Central Mall. I run into this crazy guy in the middle of the mall, Larry Davis. Some of these people know who Larry Davis is. And he was talking about CMA, and he was talking about some concert they had going on down Iron Mountain, which is just south of Mena, and you know, and it was a you know, big name person, and me and a couple of guys, a local pastor and a friend from the mall, decided to ride on down. We rode down. It was Ray Bowles is who it was. We rode down, and we got to Iron Mountain, and they were giving away Charisma magazine. Anybody know what that is? Well, it's kind of a interdenominational charismatic magazine, and I like it, you know. So I grabbed one and brought it home. And at that time, Carol was managing a motel in Fort Smith, and she got tired. She went to bed early. I consider early. 10 o'clock, her lights were out, period. She's gone. She's out down for the count, you know, the whole thing. And we went to this concert, come back, and we rode back, and about midnight I come rolling in. And so I just went straight to my den, started looking through this magazine, wondering, why are they passing out this magazine? This is kind of, you know, strange. So I sat and I started browsing through it, and I found an article on how CMA started. And Herb Shreve had a renegade son named Herbie. And he went out and got a couple of motorcycles and said, come on, let's ride. It's that simple. Went to secular motorcycle events, set up a table, made coffee, said, it's free. You want a cup of coffee? We're here for you. That's it. I read this article, and I thought, man, this is where it's at. This is really cool. I like this. So I go into the bedroom. Hey, Carol, listen to this. Considerate husband that I am. And so she dutifully, wifely tries to open her eyes, tries to hold them open, and she's listening to me. I'm talking about this, how cool it is. This pastor gave up his church and went out to motorcycle rallies and started reaching out to people and stuff like that. And I mentioned Herb Shreve, and boy, her eyes popped open. She says, Herbie? I said, okay. She says, Herbie Shreve? I said, yeah. She snatched that magazine out of my hand, sat up in bed, and read the whole thing. I just went to my den. I figured I don't know what's going on here.